I had my official friend is my manager. Like we've been friends for like 12 years. So it was with me. So like and it was still like trying to fight. So now my other guy, they roughed each other up. So I'm like, raw. I'm in Lagos on the roadside like everybody else. I'm like,
Is it on the mainland?
nah,
island?
this island.
Okay, right.
Like I'm like on the roadside like everybody else. I'm like, wow, anything can happen, Like people can fight you with instruments. Like some people can't fist fight. Someone can grab a stick. It can go either way. So I went down to go separate my friend and this guy fighting. So I was like, bro, like allow it. I don't need to fight. So Maker had done that. My friend is a madman. He must have jumped in his car and drove his car off. So in this minute, I'm like, right, what am I gonna do now? So he must have came to me on some animosity, like. So I was I was even doing this to him, like, please.
You get your car back. Really?
Nah, of course, I'm like, calm down, bro. Like, I look like I'm not meant to be fighting, but I didn't want to fight. So I'm like, calm down, bro. But I'm sure he took off his slippers. And when he done that, I'm from Nigeria, and I know anything could happen. So I just knocked him out, literally.
That guy wasn't smart enough though. Were you wearing clothes?
I was wearing vests like this.
Well, and there was more guys from your end, and it was just him.
Yeah, and
Maybe he was on something.
that's what people were saying, but it was fit as well.
Right.
It wasn't like it was some skinny guy, so it was a fair fight. It was even standing above me as well.
Right.
But obviously, like on the
But
streets.
there's still like maybe you've kind of like maybe three boys now. I mean, three people with you. in
But
your car.
yeah, but they're not hyping though. He's the one hyping. I didn't raise my voice once. I was like, bro, please, man, like, because it was causing a sin. You know what I mean? And it was above me. But the thing was that in the streets, like if someone's too close to your face, because it was too close to me, it was moving too brave. And if it's like more than your fist length, you have to whack them.
All right. So the question here is, there are a lot of expectations from celebrities. For instance, you said you didn't want to fight. You didn't want people to see you
peace.
fighting
Yeah.
and all of that. Now, how do you handle such expectations? Like you can handle your emotions all the time, like you could until you
Yeah.
had to knock him out. Now,
Nah, I did. That was self-defense though.
That was self-defense.
Yeah, I didn't want to fight him.
All right.
So
So
that
how
was
do
it.
you handle your emotions, basically, and with the expectations
No,
people expect?
I think I was the peacemaker. You know what I mean? Because I was
But
seeing
you were the guy who knocked someone out.
Now I was in the seat in the car all this while, and I was watching them through the mirror, thinking he's gonna solve. But
Yeah.
he was like, yeah, he's gonna call the
Just kept
police
moving
on
back,
us,
kept
that.
moving.
But it was right in front of my face, bro, like this. Number one, I was feeling sick. I'm like, bro, you can't be so close. I'm like, that's disgusting, bro. Who are you? But I don't even know you. So next minute, I'm like, what if he sparks me first? You can't. Muscle don't make you a fighter. Like I've been a stubborn guy when I was skinny, so like that doesn't make me feel like I'm stronger than the next man. Next man might be lifting log of woods every day. Like this is Nigeria. Like I've lived in the UK for years. And people use their hands for stuff here. Like I don't know what his hand is capable. So I didn't know what I was gonna do. So that was self-defense because he took off his slippers. What's next? He came towards me, and obviously I can't remember everything like that, but I know how to react. Like, come on, kid the kids. I'm gonna
Did
drop
you-
on the
did
floor.
you- did you
Then they're
know-
gonna put me on Instablog.
But did you notice that there were people like? Do you think people noticed who you were? Like,
So listen, it was quick.
right.
Because in London, they don't really do conversations. And like in Lagos, people like it's like drag each other's t-shirts. Like in London, like people like what?
Do you know who I am?
Yeah. I don't have to be like be pompous to next man. I don't need to do that. We're both like human beings. Like if you wanna rock, let's rock. Like you know what I mean. And I was actually ready to rock him because when he took off slippers, I thought if I would rock him, it wasn't gonna feel anything. Cause I thought it was a Nigerian guy, it was strong. But that right hand, I'm like whoa.
Slept off.
I didn't know.
Okay. Well, I think you
But
see-
saying we don't like bullies, that he was
Yeah.
a bully. He
Yeah.
saw four of my friends and he wanted to bully four people. Like,
Yeah.
how can you do that?
Yeah.
So how do you deal with profiling? For instance, you have braids on, muscled up. You always wear
No one recorded that because
and stuff. But how do you feel about profiling? When you get stopped
Yeah,
and
do you
people
get-
start
do you get
calling you
that
front
issue
boy,
here?
yeah,
this and that.
Okay, see, listen, I'm opposite everything people think I am. Like I'm actually the opposite of everything. Like I like sanity. Like you're gonna come to my crib, there's no one in there. Like it's just me listening. This morning I played my jazz music for like 2 hours. I woke up about 5
what
a.m.
jazz? What jazz?
I listen to lo-fi jazz when I wake up.
Oh, okay.
So I woke up about 5 a.m. this morning. I arranged my clothes myself. Like I sorted things out. I had my break. Like I'm a very planned human being. Like and I'm not a
Yeah,
rowdy
but
human.
obviously you looked like. I mean, we have. I think even for America, I don't know much about the London how bad it is, but
Yeah.
here as well, there's proper profiling
Yeah.
with authorities and stuff, especially because you have the look. No offense.
I know.
But do you get that issue?
the
Like,
suspect.
is that a daily, like, is that a big reality for you where you always get profiled and you have to explain that you're really no harm?
No, I don't need to explain myself to no one. Like, I just mind my business, like, and I respect everyone I see. I love to show respect. It's really nice. When I see,
Right.
if anyone does anything, like today, for example, come over here right now, my driver must have gone on the other lane. It wasn't meant to be on for people to go left. So now there's a bus beeping behind him. So I'm like, bro, like, that's wrong. Move to the other side. Obviously, if them police were there, they'd have caught you, but you moved to the other side somehow, because the other guy let us in front. So I wind down my car to say sorry to this guy.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I'm sorry, but before I was probably doing this to him. They went and drove off and must have done this. Then I told my guys that Nigerians are probably, they're not used to being nice to, like, and it's not fair. I like to be nice to my brothers and my sisters.
Yeah.
All right,
know
you
what I mean?
said a lot about Nigeria, but for someone now, I want to come back to your music because we've been talking about your personal life a
Yeah.
lot. So a lot of people will be wondering why you're not back home doing your music and why you're working from there. I know you signed to the Stub in London and you have a 3 project, which you've only dropped 1, right? And
We'll talk about that,
yeah, we'll talk about that. So, but a lot of people will wonder that for someone who blew up, who gained recognition in Nigeria, because I remember when you were 10 years old and you won the peak
I was
talent
14,
show.
I was 14.
Yeah, you were
Okay.
14, and then you did the dance stuff when you were 7, thereabout. And we saw all of that,
You're right.
and you gained your recognition in Nigeria. Then you moved to London when you were 14, and it makes it look like this is where you should be.
Yeah,
So why
yeah.
are you not home?
So right now I'm home, So that's when you said I was Nigeria. I've been here for a while. Now I got a place here. I actually even have land. I'm trying to build something on.
Nice.
Obviously, I'm trying to like work in the future so I can bring my kids here because like I want my kids to be in the sun. Because I just feel like Nigeria's just a lovely place. But obviously you need money to like live over here.
Yeah.
So like I'm just trying to right now. I'm in my 20s. Like I'm trying to make sure I have a great balance for my kids' future because I got 2 boys. You know what I mean? So right now is the only time that I got to put all these things together. Like me going to the UK was like a phase that was like that couldn't be controlled. You know what I'm saying? Because after I won the talent show, I couldn't go back to Ibadan because I used to live in Ibadan, right? So I couldn't go back to Ibadan. So now my dad wanted me to come over. So I went over there. That's when I started studying music production. So all these things, like, is needed. I needed to do them, go through their routes.
And at that age, you can't really make a decision. Like,
Yeah.
your parents will tell you where to live and stuff. Yeah.
So it's like I had to go there. Then I had to stop music for like a year. Then I remember I ran out of my dad's house. Like I ran out of my school bag and I never came back till today.
Why? Why?
Because I feel like I was in a cage. Because I'm a creative. Like a normal life, like can't run with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I like to like fly. I like to explore. I like to try things. If it doesn't work, I don't mind.
Apart from being a creative, was it also because it was not part of your life mostly? It wasn't really there. It was your mom. Could that have also been part of the reason why you didn't
You're right.
feel
You're right.
comfortable
You're
with
right.
it?
Because I had my stepmom, and I was too close to my mom. My mom raised me, so I was thinking about my family in Nigeria. I'm like, imagine me living in a nice house now, with my brother's mom. And my mother is somewhere. I'm like, nah, man. Like, this is not it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put my life through like on this route. I'm just gonna go do what I need to do. Like, as a man.
But you see, there's a lot of changes that happen between Ibadan and the UK. Even your physical appearance. There's a whole
A lot.
conversation about
Yeah.
that breaks the internet every time on Twitter. There's rumors that, okay, you've been on steroids. And
Yeah,
this
they
and,
said that.
Yeah,
That
okay,
caused
but
trouble
I
in my
want
house.
to I want to know what has been like the biggest change for you in terms of moving to the UK, and especially when it comes to like how it's affected your music.
Yeah, I think is the perfect balance of me staying here till I was 14, then moving to the UK and staying there for like, obviously I just turned 26, so I'm a 95 baby, so like, it's like the perfect balance for me learning like another culture, like absorbing it, because I was a teenager, a young
you're
teenager.
capable of
So
doing
yeah, it was the perfect time for me to balance what was going on in the UK, and I know that definitely made that's what I am today.
Yeah.
Because it's the balance of my Nigerian growing up and the UK balancing of like the new school music I had to catch up to over there.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had TV over here. I was watching Lil Wayne and stuff before I took over. I went over there, but I think without the UK, I won't be
No,
this
it wouldn't
guy.
be the sound.
All
Yeah.
right, so
for
before
sure.
we get to animalistic, which
Yeah.
is the reason why we're here today, I also like to touch on, okay, so I'm going to bring out something out of you, but being an insider, I'd like to know. So there was this, tweets going around from Wizkid about disturbing London and how Tiny Temper and the rest of them are not his guys no more and all that. So we want you to just tell us what really happened in that space between Wizkid and disturbing London.
I don't know, bro.
You don't want to tell us? Or
Nah,
you
man.
don't know?
Like the thing is that
How's it treated you being in disturbing London?
like business is business, innit? Like you never know if business don't go out with the next guy. Like you never know. Like I don't know what happened. So like big up to Doomy and big up to Weez. Like I got respect for both of them. Like me and Doomy still speak. Like it didn't do me dirty. So
Yeah.
What about Tiny?
Tiny's calm. Me and Tiny we don't really like
Relate.
relate because it was Doomy that we started speaking together. You know what I mean? So like, but Tiny's big bro, man. We're all cool. Like before I got signed to them, like we were cool. So like I done like I remember I was modeling for his clothing line. You know what I'm saying? So like yeah, man, they're good
But
people.
yeah, I think for social media, that has played a big part in your progress. I mean, I didn't find you on TV or radio first.
Yeah.
I found you on social media. There's a big buzz about that. And even like cosigns, I think you've had a really thriving cosign, status going on. But I want to know from an artist perspective, does that thing actually, do anything for your career when you have someone like Playboy, cosign you? Or is it just bands and hype and then it dies?
It's just like okay. Let me tell you the true story about Playboy, right? Cool. I was just telling my boy this yesterday. I actually showed him a snap. Like 3 years ago now, I went to his own show to watch him perform live. Like I went with one of my friends called Siobhan Bell. She's a DJ, so she made me go to. She had like all access pass. So I was there. There was Playboy Cardi, there was AJ Tracy, there was Kepi. Everyone was there. But me, I'm very laid back, so I was just watching, looking at everyone. Like I didn't ask for no pictures, nothing. I was just looking. I'm just observing it because I know I'm a musician myself. I know my journey is just starting, so I just go enjoy the process instead of trying to jump steps. So I'll just enjoy, absorb vibes and take in. So now, fast forward, I've enjoyed the show. I've gone home. Then is email from my DM saying, like, up next or something like that. He just used the emoji up soon, up next soon, something like that, and he sent me my song again. And when I sent that, it was like, what's your number?
That's cool.
Then I sent my number, then I locked me. And see them things there, they just make you understand that like you're doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
You're
See
doing
what I
well.
mean? People might not,
Basically.
yeah, people might not think, because not everyone gets like here from ASAP and Playboy Cardi. Me and ASAP speak, like no, like, and I don't think I'm that guy, but these people like they love music. You know what I'm saying? They love music and they've heard real stuff and they can relate. You know what I'm saying? And it makes sense.
All right, let's talk about Animalistic because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
That song is hard.
Appreciate
It's very hard.
Appreciate it.
There's a lot of rage, but it's not too much and like weird. But you can see that there's a lot of passion going on and everything. I want to know what influenced the song. How did you write it? What's the story around it? Like, who was in there with you? What was going through your mind? What was going on?
What's your thought process, basically?
Yeah.
So that day, I was in London, obviously. So I woke up about 6 a.m. I went downstairs. I went to make tea. I think I was making ginger and lemon or something. So I made the tea. Then I got my pen and pad. I got this speaker in my kitchen. So I can charge my phone on it. So I charged my phone. Then the producer sent me the beat. So I just played it. And it was the first beat on the pack. So no, I did it the night before. Okay. So you know when you have something here that when I wake up tomorrow, like
Don't
this
kill that
beat. Like, so I woke up early, like, before my kid wake up, everyone wake up, like my partner wake up in the yard, let me go do my job. So I went downstairs to the kitchen, I just locked myself in there. Then the lyrics started coming. So I started writing, I wrote down pen and paper, this one. So I wrote down the first verse and the chorus, then I left it to the next day. So the next day, one of my family members actually got took by the police. They actually they came into the yard, not breaking, but they came to grab him from the house.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? So they grabbed him, and that's how I done the gangsterism, got just locked in prison. So that's when that lyric, when they took him and I went to my living room, and I played the song I was recording, that's the first thing that came to my head. Like gangsterism, got locked to prison, so many cases where they had no reasons.
Yeah.
So this, all the songs in there, I mean, all the lyrics in there is like
True
deep.
life.
So what is that jumbo something told me to take medicine? What's that?
Do you know, for one reason, I swear, I knew he was gonna ask me this. I'm like a psychic. Before I came here, no, for real. Before I came here, I knew and I had an answer for you guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
so tell
why?
us.
Smoke the herb. I was ready for you guys. Wow.
Wow, how did you know? I
My
was gonna
brain
ask?
is nuts.
But it's very very catchy and it's really there.
My brain is nuts.
I mean,
but the thing is, like, growing up in Ibadan, I had Jumbo a lot. Like when you say they, like the era boys, like I grew up in a tough era. So like,
Certified area boy.
yeah, I'm not new to look Ivy City, Azan Streets. I'm a real Nigerian son.
Sorry, bro.
Sure, I'm saying. So like, you can't.
I wish we have more time,
Yeah.
but you know, I'm just gonna leave them with the music video itself so that they can see what we're on about. But thank you guys so much for joining the conversation, and please feel free to continue this conversation on Tea Time on social media, obviously with the hashtag Tea Time, or Twitter us at +TV Africa. Remember that you can catch up on all of our previous episodes, including this one, and all of our exclusive contents by subscribing to our YouTube channel at +TV Africa. You can also watch Tea Time on RTTV and in London on Ben Television. A big thank you out to my co-Akwe Falo Shuke and Emerald, who had to keep it jiggy for me by sitting aside for social distancing, and of course my guest, Kid. Thank you so much, and the entire production team. My name is Ife Omai. Enjoy this one from Kid himself, Animalistic.
Spiritualism, rhymes and rhythm. Animalistic, I'm a beast from within. Where you come from, what's your origin? Got a dream, but you're not committing. Bad fruits, better start vomiting. My pocket, but I'm not forgiving. I just start in a comparison. Jumbo when I blow my medicine. Lock my head like a rasta. Shit, you know, see, Jesus Christ was a black man. They lied to us in many ways. They suffer us in many ways. Can't solve the pain that we don't face. So this anger never mistake. Dancing on the pain away. Take all my worries away. Spiritualism, rhymes and rhythm. Animalistic, I'm a beast from within. Where you come from, what's your origin? Got a dream, but you're not committing. Bad fruits, better start vomiting. My pocket, but I'm not forgiving. I just start in a comparison. Jumbo when I blow my medicine. Gangsterism got us locked in prison. So many kids with they have no reason. I'm a nigga, I'm not a pigeon. African boy, I'm a proud citizen. Wake up in the morning, tell myself I am great. No matter condition, where I see, where I face. A lot on my plate, so I got to regulate. You guys destroy before you regret. Many years and my people don't suffer. I know many things, but I know if it to come. If I to come, make I to come. Too evil to come, will be so hard. Many years and my people don't suffer. I know many things, but I know if it to come. If I to come, make I to come. Too evil to come, will be so hard. Spiritualism, rhymes and rhythm. Animalistic, I'm a beast from within. Where you come from, what's your origin? Got a dream, but you're not committing. Bad fruits, better start vomiting. My pocket, but I'm not forgiving. I just start in a comparison. Jumbo when I blow my medicine.
Hello and welcome to Ladies Talking Business. I'm your host, Moremi Akonwo. On today's episode, we will be discussing the interior design industry in Nigeria. Our guest is an interior designer with over 20 years of experience, who is an alumni of the Sheffield School of Interior Design, as well as the Ivy School of Interiors, Bath, England, where she received an advanced diploma in interior design. She is the CEO of Sixth Sense Interiors, an interior design and furniture company that specializes in the design, decoration, and enhancement of living spaces. Over the years, she has been recognized by the Bank of Industry for her contributions in the entrepreneurial sector. In 2013, she received the Top 40 Under 40 Biz Day Award, just to mention a few. Our guest is Temitope Olagbegi. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you.
But just
for
before I
having
go
me.
into the very, very deep questions, what particular experience birthed Sixth Sense?
So I suppose my flair for interiors most definitely. However, I think there was a deeper burden, and the burden was to help people who didn't have a clue or didn't have the eye that I did, you know. So I'd go into spaces and I would be appalled by what I saw, you know, and for no fault of theirs, you know. They just didn't know any better, you know. And so we all have our gifts, and I believe interiors, beautifying spaces is one of mine, you know.
Okay.
And so Sixth Sense was birthed as a result of wanting to help people with what came also naturally to me.
Okay, so from your passion, you
Right.
decided to make profit.
You can say that. You can say that.
Okay, so for someone who's been in this business for over 20 years,
Yeah.
wow, well done.
Thank
So
you.
what notable improvements would you say you've seen over the years? So things that maybe they weren't there before, they are now, or they were there before, they aren't anymore.
Wow. The transition has been like amazing, you know. I was coming from a time or maybe an era where people found it difficult to pay someone to actually come into their space to do something with it, you know. I was coming from a place where people didn't even understand what the vocation was about, right? You needed to overly explain. People confused it for carpentry, they confused it for curtain making. And so that's the era I'm coming from. That's where I started. That's how I started, you know. And to see the industry come full circle to the point and place where people are ever so willing to solicit the help of a designer, I mean, that is like amazing, all right? The provision of jobs is something else that has been massive as a result of the growth that's happened in this industry. All right, yeah. So many people have found things to do and ways to put food on their table.
Especially so many hands-on people, like the carpenters,
Absolutely.
the plumbers. and
Absolutely,
co.
absolutely. And so that is dramatic. That I would say that the contributions of the interior design industry into the Nigerian economy has been like huge.
Huge, amazing. So how does a beginner get into this business? So I'm a first time, I have no clue, but I know I have a flair for good things. I've got eyes for good things. How can I get into the business? Are there training institutes in Nigeria?
Oh yeah, absolutely. To get into the business is to acquire the skill, you know. Even when you have a natural flair, it's often good to hone the flair, yeah, turn it into a skill, all right, and get trained. Sixth Sense runs a training academy, right, and so that's one of the institutions where one can get certified.
Okay. So I was trying to find the other day countries that were so big on interior design, and China popped up.
Right.
The United States popped up,
Right.
Italy and some other countries. So what can Nigeria do to get there? Because we've got the skill, we've got people who can do these things. We've got the skill, we've got the resources to get this thing done here. But in your own opinion, and for someone who's been here for over 20 years, what can Nigeria do to at least step us up a bit in this industry?
What Nigeria can do first and foremost is to stabilize the economy. All right, it's only a stable economy that can begin to develop on its infrastructure and the likes. Our government needs to pay particular attention to this industry because it is such an income generator. All right, but the way to start it is by ensuring that we have constant power. You know, the manufacturing of these things like furniture, and the machinery to produce this, because we're talking about two sides to this sector. We're saying we want to produce furniture, all right? But there are also so many machines that we can produce locally to help facilitate the growth of the industry. And so power is so integral to the growth of this. And, it cuts across, it's not just for interior design. For any sector that we want to grow, we need power. Yeah. And so that is something that has got to be stable and has got to be constant, right? And then more support for institutions that are promoting the skill acquisition in this sector would be great.
Okay.
Yes. And so it's pockets of people. The Nigerian educational system has not fully integrated interior design as a career course. All right? So that is another way that our government can help.
So you don't think it's in universities? You don't think
It's
Nigerian
in,
universities
it's in a
have...
few universities, but
Private?
it isn't private universities.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It would be very good if these courses were offered in the government universities. All right, yeah. That is one surefire way of boosting the awareness of it in the first place. So people have flair for this, but they just don't know how to channel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, we will go on a short break now. Please stay with us.
There has to be a decision point. The way your baby's presenting, we have to rush you in. And my partner at the time was like, "You going to cut her? Are you going to cut her? Is it going to leave a scar?" And I said, am I a belly dancer? What is the problem here?
No, I'm vulnerable about the future of the children, the future of mine and the future of the generation of my children.
I want to have nude pictures taken. Of you? Yes,
Yeah,
but
we
without
had that
showing my private parts. I want to put it in my front room. And they said, you can't do that. People will be embarrassed when they came into your house. I said, well, it's my body and it's my front room.
All the things that we do, what is the purpose of it?
I just realized that I was more trusting before I was 6.
So many women, they just feel like I have to cook for my husband, I have to breastfeed my children, I have to pick them from school.
Because society expects
Then you
them
go
to.
home and you cry and you stop your career, you can't do anything, then you blame everybody. You took that choice.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Cross Trending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
I'm still here with the CEO of Sixth Sense Limited, an interior design and furniture company, Temitope Olagbegi. Okay, so let's talk about your designs. How do you source for the materials and the components for your designs? So do you have to import them, or have you built a structure where you get them here in Nigeria?
Okay, so one of the good things that the government has done is in allowing us bring in flat packs, all right? And so those are the components, all right? So it's still a struggle to bring in furniture, full furniture.
Okay.
However, we can bring the components,
okay,
right? And so that has been a great help in ensuring that the industry experiences growth. So I currently have a factory where we make locally produced furniture pieces with the help of those design finials that we can't get in Nigeria. Yes, so that's what I mean by the flat packs.
Okay.
So we can bring in accessories and things to just garnish the furniture that we produce.
Interesting. So how do you build a profitable interior design business? Not that you go into it now and in the next 2 to 3 years, because I think the market is already getting saturated. So but how do you stay and how do you build a profitable business such that you're actually reaping, you know, the reward of your labor?
So I'll start by saying that it's important that people get into the business for the right reasons. You know, unfortunately, people are in the business of interior design because they have a preconceived idea that, oh my goodness, it's lucrative, but they haven't come in tune and in touch with all that is required to ensure that, you know, it becomes lucrative for them and profitable, you know, and that is, it requires a lot of resilience. Okay. It requires a lot of, I mean, you would need, as a CEO, to get your hands dirty. Yes.
Okay, so you would have to hang curtains.
Well, at the initial stage, you know, just like every business, every startup, you know, the CEO is the one who defines the culture. All right? Yes. So in my company, there's absolutely nothing that I pretty much don't do, and I have been here for 20 years. All right? It is, I may be the design director, so to speak, you know. However, I am saying to my staff for every time I am on a project, all right, that I'm not just giving instructions. Okay, yes, I am getting my hands dirty as well, all right. And so as regards longevity in business, one needs to be in it for the right reasons, all right. One needs to ensure that one puts in proper structure into the business, right? And one needs to find their niche, all right? Interior design is so large, all right?
So you can't really be doing everything.
And so, yes, I mean, so many people are a jack of all the aspects of it. However, if you have found your niche, where you're good at, where you thrive, stay there and make a name for yourself in that area that you have carved out for yourself. Yeah.
Great. So what are the qualities of a good interior designer?
A good interior designer must have an eye, right? The eye is what sets you apart from every other person. Your ability to see things, and not just beautiful things, your ability to see the application of things, right? And a good interior designer should be a people person. All right?
Very important.
Yes, yeah. You should be amiable. You should be able to hold a conversation, you know. So many people think that interior design is just all about putting pieces in places. But I always like to say that interior designers have to be articulate problem solvers. Yeah, because what makes you thrive in the industry is your ability to see a problem and to solve the problem. Yes, you know. You have to be mathematically inclined to be a good interior designer because you're churning out codes, you're converting measurements. Exactly. And so these are just a few of,
Okay, so let's talk about Sixth Sense. What makes it unique? So why should I go with Sixth Sense instead of going with another brand?
Sixth Sense is very true to its offering, all right? We are a customer-oriented brand. And so I know that a good interior designer is about solving the problem of the customer. Yeah, so people come into design, you know, startup companies, and it's all about their design direction, what they want. You know, Sixth Sense is about the client.
So what the client wants.
So what does my client want? And how do I sort my client out? How do I ensure that my client is satisfied at the end of the day? All right. And I suppose this is how come we've had clients running 19 years who keep calling us back. Yes, because it's not about us, it's about satisfying the client. All right, yeah. And I mean, it comes with every other thing. All right, yes, our ability to transform spaces. All right, but it's really the core and the heart of it is really about solving problems.
Solving the client's problem.
Yes.
Interesting. Please stay with us for more of this conversation after the break.
And sports people are going to have a youth, but let's about them 7. Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I am not hungry. If I need appointment, all I need to do is to start praising government.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let everybody come and say.
The moment we stop having charlatans occupy political offices, we will curtail hate speech.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect am.
If you don't talk, then go beat you.
Now 2,500 they pay.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm still with Temitope Olagbegi of Sixth Sense Limited. So you've been in this business for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And I know you have had challenges. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me some of the key challenges you faced
Oh
over
my
the
God,
years?
okay. So I'd say one of the very common challenges that a lot of designers have had is staffing. All right?
Okay.
You know, interior design is so hands-on that there are no best-kept secrets. Okay? And so you're pretty much working alongside with every person on your team. All right? The things you do are quite visible and clear to every person on your team. And so staffing is a challenge because sooner than later, people wake up to say they want to start their own business. All right? Yes. And so that has been one of the major challenges that myself and quite a number of other interior designers have faced. You know, I used to have staff who I actually believed were my succession plan. All right, and so it was a rude awakening to find that some of these people had started running parallel businesses to mine.
Okay.
Yes, all right. And so these are some of the few things that, you know, plague us in the industry.
So apart from staffing, what else?
Back to what I said, you know, the lack of governmental support, okay? Because we don't have a lot of the infrastructure that's required to fabricate the designs that we have in our heads, all right? We resort to importation. All right, and the depreciation of the Naira has not helped, right? The taxes that we have to pay to bring these things in have not helped either. And so in a case where we are not getting the support that's required, right, to build homegrown industries, all right, and then we have to pay heavy tax duties, right, it becomes pretty expensive for our clients at the end of the day,
so have
the
you been
consumers.
able to manage that you still have clients coming back after 19 years, 17 years?
So it's a potpourri of things that we've managed to do, and one of the reasons why we've had to build our homegrown factory is so that we can give people the option. Yes, all right? You have the option of going high-end, or you have the option, we call it the cheap and the cheerful, all right?
Cheap
Where
and
we
cheerful.
meet you in between to sort your needs out with our local materials that are
Okay.
available to us here.
Oh, interesting. That's a good strategy. So what's the future of Sixth Sense?
The future of Sixth Sense is to cater more to the middle class.
The middle
I
class.
have a philosophy that everyone is deserving of a beautiful home. Yes. From the market person to the tailor down the road. Every person should be entitled to, because we say that shelter is supposedly a basic amenity, but shelter without it being comfortable,
Comfy.
all right, doesn't augur well for productivity, right? Relationship building. And so one of the things that I am about is building healthy relationships in the family system. And
Interesting.
one of the things Sixth Sense has done for me is making families accessible to me,
Okay.
right? I'm a marriage counselor, I'm a life coach, and so my entry into a person's space is beyond just physically beautifying the space. I want to do a lot more, okay? Beautifying the space physically is just one of the things that can be done, all right, to ensure that a family is wholesome or a person is whole, right? And so back to where I started, as regards ensuring that every person has got a nice enough place, all right? If you live in a comfortable enough space, you would think well. If you live in a comfortable enough space, you'll be emotionally balanced. If you live in a comfortable enough of space, all right, your productivity levels just, heightens, okay? And so how do we get to become a Nigeria where it's basic that everyone enjoys, however simple, but yet comfortable
Living
spaces? Yeah.
Amazing.
So that's the future, and that's the direction for Sixth Sense. How can we begin to talk about this more in government quarters? All right, yes. How do we begin to explain this in the first place, that it's more than just providing shelter? Okay, yeah. How can we bring down the cost of it? Something that is so close to my heart is as simple as mattresses.
Getting the right mattress or ensuring people have mattresses.
People have, the right kind of comfort to sleep. Right? You would be amazed how just this simple thought translates into bridging the dysfunction that there is in our family systems. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. I've never seen it that way, but thank you so much for pointing that out to us. And thank you so much for joining us on the show today. We wish you all the very best at Sixth Sense.
Thank you.
This is how far we can go on this episode of Ladies Talking Business. Do join us next week for another episode. I'm Morimi Akonwo. See you next time.
Reading is an essential habit and a culture that must be developed. Nigerians are generally believed to have a poor reading culture. The role of government in promoting reading and equipping reading spaces and libraries in Nigeria cannot be underestimated. But first, we must look at the development of reading habits from the home and the role parents play in encouraging their children.
My parents, my mom used to be a teacher, so reading was obviously part of a curriculum. And then my father used to be a professor and is an author. So I started reading very, very early, and I started reading books that were higher than my age grade. I was reading African Writer series from age 7, age 8, and reading encyclopedias by that time. So obviously my parents had a huge part and encouraged that in me.
In the Nigerian book market, there's a high influx of foreign authors writing for children, but very few Nigerian authors telling relatable, homegrown Nigerian stories.
If you start out reading stories even to your baby, even before they're 1, and then as they get older, buy appropriate materials that are colorful, with easy to read words, and read with them. I think that helps.
Adedotun Enyade, a co-founder of Robin Heights, a leading bookstore in Nigeria, has tips for Nigerian authors and how they can improve on their work and get into the hearts of readers.
The story has to be good, right? If you're writing, whatever you're writing, if you're writing fiction, if you're writing non-fiction, it has to be really, really compelling, one. Next thing would be in terms of the packaging, right? People have gone past the era where you just take your books with just about any printer to print for you. I think, publishers, self-published authors as well, they need to invest in ensuring that the quality of the book, the final output is one that would, stack up with any book, published, elsewhere in the world. So that's really important. Then I think, what would be the most important tip for me to them would be just, they need to invest in marketing.
The book business, like any other business, is challenging.
If you ask anyone who's running the business in Nigeria, they will tell you capital, of course, right? Book selling is also, as with any other business, is also quite capital intensive. Getting to pay your rent, getting to actually buy the books and stock up your shelves when you have them. Hiring good people requires decent amount of capital. So I would say it's getting the startup funds to set up something, and then if you're looking to do it at scale like we're hoping to do, then it also requires you raising funding, which isn't readily available in commercial banks, right? I don't think a bank would say they want to give you a loan to set up a bookstore. They probably will be skeptical about the number of people who read. So for us, I think it's just I would say capital is at the top of the totem pole.
It is commendable that certain individuals and organizations are making concerted efforts to revive the reading culture in the country. The government should also redesign the school curriculum to incorporate more reading activities in primary and secondary schools.
Thank you for joining us on Plus News Brief. I am Vivian Oguche. So the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, NSCIA, has announced the sighting of the moon and noted that the 2021 Ramadan will begin on Tuesday, the 13th of April. The President General of the NSCIA and Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Saad Abubakar, made the announcement on Monday night. The Sultan called on Muslims in Nigeria to use the period of this year's Ramadan to pray for the peace of the country. President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday welcomed the beginning of Muslims' holy month of Ramadan, which marks the commencement of 30 days of fasting. In a message to the nation to mark the occasion, President Buhari prayed to Allah to accept the sacrifices and increase the unity, solidarity, peace and prosperity of the nation. He urged Muslims in the country to exercise patience and tolerance and also reject voices that seek to divide the nation. He also urged all citizens to show compassion to the millions of less endowed people and remember those that have been displaced by conflict in their charity and prayers in this important period. In a similar vein, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, urged the Muslim Ummah to stress the messages of peace, love, and national unity. Also, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has urged Muslims in Nigeria to get close to God spiritually and seek answers to the problems hindering the progress of the nation as the holy month of Ramadan begins across the Islamic world. He advised Muslims to remember the holy month as a period of giving, especially to those desperately in need of help and building a better society. Well, turning to other stories now, Ambassador Taofiq Arakpaja, the candidate backed by the camp of Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, has received 343 votes to emerge as the new national vice chairman, Southwest of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Eddie Olafeso, backed by former governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayoshi, got a total of 330 votes.
I believe it is our party. There's no other place to go, and there's no other party. We'll work together, we'll concern each other, and make sure we move the party forward. All we are saying, what we always say, as our leader always said, is that we want to build the party, we want to position the party. We are not continuing, because we are having at the moment. There are little bit time when we used to have 5 over 6. At that time, we were everybody was 6 over 6, we were going 100%. Now we have 1 over 6. That's like 16.6%. If you're a student and you have 7.6%, I mean, that is a big thing. We are work with our work with all politics. And I want us to begin to have a change of heart. Here we are not punching each other. We are not shooting at one another. Yes, sometimes we explode the rise. We say things we know are not just right. But at the same time, we have to live with the fact that this is one party and we are one happy family. I will step out of this place a very proud human being. I did my best. Your Excellency is one of the products of our hands because we labor to ensure that our young state came under PDP. And I believe on that we will have more than 5 more problems in the South.
Earlier, Makinde and Fayoshi had promised to accept whoever emerged as the Southwest PDP chairman. The ambitions of Arakpaja and Olafeso had caused a sharp disagreement between Makinde and Fayoshi, a situation which made the party shift the venue and date of the Congress from Ibadan to Osogbo.
So whatever the outcome is, we'll take it in the spirit of a family context. We don't want to defeat ourselves. We want to defeat APC. So at the end of this exercise, I promise you there will be no victor, no vanquish. As your only governor in this zone, whoever emerges belongs to me.
this Congress is a circumstantial issue. And it's been in the public domain who is the leader. Governor Seyi Makinde is our leader. Therefore, we should not, particularly those who are our supporters, those who are our lovers, should not continue to put wedge in between us. I want to assure you that together we will make exploit. This was not divide us. I stand here to tell you today, either way it goes, I will accept it.
Meanwhile, former President Goodluck Jonathan has called for a legislation that will prevent the courts from declaring a winner in an election. Speaking with journalists in Abuja, Jonathan insisted that the situation where the judiciary is allowed to declare winners in an election because of electoral fraud should not be the order of the day, as it is undemocratic.
In Nigeria today, that the judiciary select political leaders is not the best. The ballot paper should be the basis of selecting political leaders. If it is the judiciary that will select, it is not, we are not yet there. I'm not saying the judiciary are not doing well, but I mean our laws should suppress the idea of the judiciary returning candidates. If a candidate that won the election is fined wanton, so that election should be annulled and a fresh election conducted. The ballot paper must decide who holds any office from councillorship to the presidency.
In Nasarawa State, Governor Abdullahi Sule has sworn in the first female chief judge of the state, Justice Aisha Aliyu. Justice Aliyu's appointment as the substantive chief judge of the state followed the recommendation of the National Judicial Council and the consent of the State House of Assembly.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I need to add that judiciary is the hope of the common man and those who are not so common in the society. As a chief judge, you must realize that this is a call to serve the people, and in carrying out your official duties, I urge you to let the fear of God and public interest take precedence over personal preferences, and inclinations. It is important to once again state that your appointment as the Honorable Chief Judge of Nasarawa State is based on your record of experience, professionalism, patriotism, loyalty, and above all, your integrity in the proven responsibilities that you have been given.
Thank you so much. There's so many of you. I cannot waste time by calling on everybody. But I really thank and appreciate all of you, your love, your support, and concern. And on behalf of the other members who will be sworn in today, we wish to thank His Excellency. We wish to thank you also very much. I'm praying to Almighty Allah that shall all go home safely. May Allah bless and protect our country, the first family, and all of us. Thank you.
Now, the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria has issued an alert on planned attacks on airports across the country. Sources say that the Deputy General Manager Administration and Logistics, Fan Maman, wrote to the heads of security. The document dated the 9th of April 2021 listed the airports in Kaduna, Maiduguri, Sokoto, Kano, Abuja, and Lagos as targets. Fan advised the management of the facilities to operate at a heightened threat level. They were directed to submit a list of existing and additional countermeasures to address the threats, along with their cost implications. And more news now. Reactions have continued to trail the Edo State Governor's statement that Nigeria recently printed 60 billion naira to make up for state allocations. Osaogi Ogbonwan tells us more on the veracity of this statement and the attending implications.
In quote, "You are just borrowing,
borrowing and borrowing without any means or idea of how to pay back. When we got FAC for March, the federal government printed additional 50 to 60 billion naira to top up for us to share. End of quote. These were the comments that got economic analysts talking. Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki argues that the country's economy is in a precarious situation. Therefore, something urgent must be done. He says the current price of crude oil is only a mirage, explaining that the major oil companies are no longer investing much in oil. Nigerians and financial analysts have shared views on this revelation and the danger it poses.
Let's take a look at the Central Bank Act. The Central Bank is guided by laws and procedures. And one of the procedures is that the central bank should not finance more than a certain percentage of the government deficit directly. Okay, but the central bank has exceeded these limits. So that is really where the problem is. Then you have to take a look at the next thing, which is the Fiscal Responsibility Act, which guides government expenditure. It is a bad situation. You are in fiscal deficit. You are violating your Fiscal Responsibility Act. And you're also violating your Central Bank Act. So we need to move back and we need to align with the tenements of those acts.
Can Nigeria get itself out of this potential crisis? And what is the Nigerian government expected to do to avoid digging deeper into financial and economic crisis?
There is a need for a serious structural adjustment of the Nigerian economy on the fiscal side and on the monetary side. But the monetary side, the central bank is holding their ground, and they've done what they need to do. So all they just need to do is to refinance a lot of these debts and put them into the right debt instruments to comply with the tenements of the CBN Act. It's now the question of there is hope. What you need to do is you need to do the right things. You need to implement the right policies, and then you see the results.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has so far denied knowledge of claims that Nigeria printed billions of naira last month to cushion its financial troubles. Osaogie Ogbowa, Plus TV Africa.
And now, condolence visits continue as late Yinka Odumakin's widow, Jo Odumakin, receives leaders of the South and Middle Belt Forum at his Omole residence. Our correspondent, Jacinta Obiku, has more for us.
It's been days now since late Afenifere spokesperson Yinka Odumakin passed on after battling with respiratory problems occasioned by COVID-19 complications. Among prominent Nigerians who paid visits to the deceased family are the leaders of the South and Middle Belt Forum, who also recount the impact of the life he lived.
Yinka believed that we were suffering from misgovernance. We were suffering from a deficient structure, and we needed to turn our country around, and he was prepared to go any length whatsoever to speak with whoever was necessary.
Yinka was someone who showed an amazing zeal for the evolution of a fairer society and for the emancipation of the underclass in our society.
Yinka was selfless. Yinka was committed to the cause that he believed in. And it was up to you to convince him otherwise with superior argument on any issue. So I'm hoping that we can find more Yinkas in Nigeria.
The South and Middle Belt Forum's next port of call is the residence of the leader of Afenifere, Pa Ayo Adebanjo, who sympathized with him.
We've come to tell you, sir, that we are weakened but not defeated. Yinka's spirit will fire in us an unquenchable commitment to achieve our victory.
The Yoruba socio-cultural group leader narrates his moments with Odumakin.
We have missed a star, rare star. Even those who are older, who are even better financially equipped, they are not contented. The moment they do them some cross on the table, they crumble. That's what we are missing. That will be the kernel channel of your prayer for God to replace a man of his quality, of his stamina, of his loyalty to this great country. Thank you very much.
State of the Nation, as well as the newly formulated Southeast Security Outfit, Ebubago, were also discussed.
I don't oppose the session, but I don't oppose it. It is to present the session that we are saying the socially is the answer.
All the governors from the 5 states of the Southeast attended the meeting in Owerri, and they were on the same page. What happened on Sunday was historic.
The wife of the deceased, Joe Oke Odumakin, says the body of her husband will be laid to rest on Saturday, April 24, 2021, among other funeral rites. Jacinta Obiuku reporting for Plus TV Africa.
Now, Bitcoin hits record high, soars past $62,000. Details shortly. Stay with us.
It's that time of the year again for Africa's largest and most diverse gathering of workplace professionals, C-level executives, policymakers, SMEs, and startups. It's the HREA Work Festival 2021, coming up on the 14th to 15th of April 2021. The 2-day event will take place physically at the Landmark Event Center, Victoria Island, Lagos, while the virtual participants will be joining via the HREA's dedicated AI-powered multi-room virtual hub. Get ready as you experience 80 speakers, over 100 sessions, and 30 corporate exhibitors. The theme for this year's event is Borderless Work. Stellar speakers at the event include Segun Ogunsoya, Deborah Wainswick, Adeolu Adewumi Zer, Sabrina G, and many others. At the event, there will be masterclass certified session from the London South Bank University, Tekedia Institute, and Lagos Business School. Register now at www.hrexpoafrica.com or send an email to registration@hrexpoafrica.com. Headline sponsor, Bastion HMO.
Welcome back. Let's take you to other parts of Africa now. After an almost 2-month wait, a new government has been unveiled in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Sacred Union of the Nation, as this new government is being referred to, is made up of pro-President Felix Tshisekedi personalities and sees both a reduction in numbers to 57 members. The government also has a fresh dose of diversity, 27% female representation, a younger average age of 47 years, and with 80% new figures. The previous team, led by Sylvester Elunkamba, had 43 pro-Kabila and 23 pro-Tshisekedi ministers. The portfolios were split 83% male and only 17% female. Christophe Latundula, a supporter of Katumbi, has been appointed to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Well, outside Africa, beg your pardon, Saudi Arabia, home to Islam's holiest shrines, has announced that the holy fasting months of Ramadan will start on Tuesday as Muslims worldwide face COVID-19 curbs. Other Muslim countries, including Sunni majority, Egypt and Lebanon, have also announced that Tuesday marks the start of Ramadan, while Shiite majority countries like Iran are expected to start one day later. Well, Afghans on Tuesday began their fast on the first day of Ramadan, marking the beginning of the holy month observed by Muslims around the world. Markets in the Afghan capital Kabul were busier than usual as people bought food and special treats for iftar, the meal eaten at sunset each evening when the fast is broken. Well, away from Ramadan, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has met Iranian President Hassan Rouhani and Foreign Minister Javad Zarif in Tehran. Local media reports that Lavrov and Zarif signed a cooperation agreement between the two countries and held a news conference. Lavrov's visit comes as Iran accuses arch foe Israel of sabotaging its key Natanz nuclear site on Sunday and has vowed revenge. Meanwhile, demonstrators took to the streets of Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, Monday to protest the fatal shooting of a young black man, which, according to the city's police chief, appeared to result from an officer accidentally opening fire with a gun instead of a taser in the midst of a struggle during a traffic stop. The shooting of 20-year-old Dante Wright in Brooklyn Center unfolded on Sunday, and it happened just 10 miles from the courthouse where a former police officer is standing trial in the fatal arrest last May of George Floyd, a 46-year-old black man. Floyd's death sparked moments of nationwide protests and civil strife over racial bias and police brutality in U.S. law enforcement. Well, business news now. Bitcoin hit a record high above $62,000 Tuesday as the cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase prepares to launch shares on Wall Street. The virtual currency reached $62,377, a huge gain of 114% since the start of the year. After crashing in 2018, the value of Bitcoin rebounded and it has set records since last year, skyrocketing from around $12,000 in October to more than $60,000 1 month ago. Well, in entertainment news, Will Smith's slavery film Emancipation has pulled out of filming in Georgia over what the star has called the U.S. state's new regressive voting laws. In a statement issued to Deadline by Smith and his director, the pair said they felt compelled to act. Deadline said the move by the Emancipation producers comes after weeks of discussions between the filmmakers, film officials, and Georgia political leaders, including voting rights activist Stacey Abrams. And on sports news, the Nigerian-American WWE wrestler Sesu Uha, also known as Apollo Crews, has emerged the WWE Intercontinental Champion. Apollo Crews, who defeated his opponent, the Big E, at the just concluded WrestleMania, dedicated his new title to Nigeria, stressing that his ancestors will now rejoice. In an interview shortly after the match, the 33-year-old wrestler, whose parents hailed from Benue State, said he was proud to have defeated his opponent as earlier promised. The 2020 WrestleMania was the 37th annual professional wrestling produced by WWE for their Raw and SmackDown brand divisions. It took place in Florida. Well, that does it for us, a news brief. For more, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. Well, thank you for watching. We'll be back later with more stories. I am Vivian Oguche.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I am not hungry. If I need appointment, all I need to do is to start praising government.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let everybody come and say. The moment we stop having charlatans occupy political offices, we will curtail hate speech.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know. we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect am.
If you no talk, dem go beat you.
Na 2,500 they pay.
Decision point. The way your baby's presenting, we have to rush you in. And my partner at the time was like, "You going to cut her? Are you going to?" Can't do that. People will be embarrassed when they came into your house. I said, "Well, it's my body and it's my front room."
All the things that we do, what is the purpose of it?
I just realized that I was more trusting before I was 6.
So many women, they just feel like I have to cook for my husband, I have to breastfeed my children, I have to pick them from school.
Because society expects
Then you
them
go home and you cry and you stop your career, you can't do anything, then you blame everybody. You took that choice.
Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? #Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Osayuame Sale, and today we have a full house. We have Jenny Baby, our 6'1" Amazon, and Istia Fodele.
The 5 foot.
I was not planning to tell you height on TV.
2. Incredible.
She exposed herself by herself.
Amazon, yes, 5'2", incredible Amazon. Yes, I'm here today. Let's get the ball rolling. Yes, I'm ready.
Somebody is high. I was not planning to call your height on TV.
No, you've been saying it. I'm the shortest, I know, but you have to rub it in. You have to rub it in.
You're the
Come
tallest.
on.
Don't you know that your size have work? That
Oh,
they-
no. Pint size doesn't mean that we don't have what it takes.
You know, EC size is the most annoying size of people. You know why? They always find their
Beautiful
shoes.
shoes.
She does not understand what we go through.
We go through a lot.
When we are looking for shoe sizes. But how are you, EC?
I'm very well, thank you.
You seem to be in a very...
She's in a happy mood. I can see she took something. We don't know yet. Oh.
Not really.
Are you sure?
I wish I... Oh, yes. No. Oh, on break.
That has to be it.
Oh, school is on break. That's why.
We're on break.
I can see that. It's telling.
But that doesn't mean I'm on break.
You work
I'm
actually. You work around the clock.
Exactly. I'm organizing the training, so that should kick off in a week or two. So we're still busy.
That's good. It's good to be busy.
Absolutely.
How are you, Jennifer?
I'm fine.
Loving your dress.
Thank you.
Like I should come and steal it. I wish I was your size. So Jennifer's hair, I don't know if they can see where the hair stops. I don't understand.
Flip it.
You want to go and sweep
front.
the streets of Lagos.
Flip it to the front.
And she said it was actually longer than this one. I thought I was crazy until I met
What were you
Jennifer.
thinking?
See, this is actually the first time I'm doing braids this long. And then I think my hairdresser was like, oh, normal length. I was like, yeah. I said, no, you know
Let's
what?
go all out.
Make it long.
And she decided to go
I just wanted
all
to do
out,
something
all out.
different.
And it looks nice. It looks nice.
It does.
It looks nice. I don't know whether it's how much impact it is to the economy, because that's what we're talking
Wow.
about today.
Wow.
No, but at least you have made somebody's economy good now. You impacted somebody's
Business is booming.
Yes, business is booming. All right, so we're talking economy today. Of course, everybody has seen the Governor Obaseki's video, and here's what we found as today's quote. The ultimate resource in economic development is people. It is people, not capital or raw materials, that develop an economy. That's from Peter Drucker. So this is like the quote that we found for today, but the conversation is so much around, what the economy is, because every Nigerian, I'm sure both home and abroad, saw the viral video of Governor Obaseki analyzing our economy, saying, and I quote, we are in trouble, huge financial trouble. As we look towards 2023, what should our economic roadmap look like, right? We should be having those kinds of conversations. It's not enough for you to say, oh, I want to fight corruption. We're not doing that road again. So Tunji Andrew is here to discuss this. But first, let's take a break for what's in the news.
A lot of the jobs that exist today will not exist in the next 10 years.
10 years.
When I see people today shouting, we're not too young to run, we are ready to run. Ready to run to where?
The people of excellence are, to a certain extent, being held ransom by idiots and bandits.
Once you are in government, you believe everything you do is right. And once you are in opposition, everything the government does is wrong.
And so it's time for us to take over power.
The International Day of Human Space Flight is a day set aside to celebrate each year at the international level the beginning of space era for mankind, reaffirming the important contribution of space science and technology in achieving sustainable development goals and increasing the well-being of states and people, as well as ensuring the realization of their aspirations to maintain outer space for peaceful purpose. I mean, whoever discovered space, God bless the person. That's all we can say on that.
Basically, I think that has to do with human curiosity. If they hadn't been curious enough,
of course,
I don't think we would have understood what space was.
Everything that is
like.
is science and technology that we are enjoying today was as a result of somebody saying. And sometimes I'm just be thinking, waiting our own government, waiting with their ambition. Like, what's their ambition? Like, because this is some countries that decided and no, we want to go and explore and see what is out there.
Exactly.
And look at the benefits that the whole world is what's it called? The whole world is benefiting from today.
That's what I'm saying. Does Nigeria have a satellite in space? I don't think so.
I don't know about that. We'll ask
I actually heard that we do.
I don't know.
I can't remember what they actually call it.
All right, so who are we going to start with today? Let me start with Jennifer. What's your story?
FG appeals to judicial workers to suspend strike. So if you've been listening to the news, you know that lawyers have been on strike for a while. And now the FG is telling them that they need to come back. There was something the government said to them. Let me read this. You are important people, and that is why we waited to see if there could be an in-house conciliation with the Chief Justice of Nigeria. But since progress was not made, we decided to exercise our mandate here as Ministry of Labor and Employment. And he also said to them that they are lawyers and they are supposed to know about the law. So it is quite wrong of them to go on strike, meaning they are probably going against the law. Yeah. But then I also saw in news, I think Makinde said that they are already looking into their welfare and their salary, I think salary increase or something like that. So they're expected to come back very soon. And the government also told them that the judicial officers will be back very soon from their Easter holiday, and they don't want them to come back and mid-strike. So we really hope that they can call off the strike and also meet their demands. I saw something on Twitter, I think that was last week, or I think it was on a Friday, and then someone tweeted that the policemen are back on the road. So just make sure that you comply with all the road rules, and then when they stop you, be very kind and be very nice to them, because if they arrest you and put you in the cell, court is on strike. So there'll be nobody to bail you out. Yes. So you don't want to hear Adainon or we start hearing sad stories and all of that. So there are probably a lot of negative implications for this move. But I really hope for
should the government have even allowed this strike in the first place?
No.
Because for an arm of government that is so critical to a lot of things, look at what you just said now, that is tied to a lot of things.